Council President, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Okay, Mr. President, you can get started.
Okay.
6:37 at the time.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Time is 6:37. The date, Tuesday, January 7th, 2020. The regular city council meeting of the great city of East Cleveland is now called to order. Dr. Guy, can you call the roll, please?
Councilor Austin.
Present.
Councilor Stevenson. Present. Councilor Martin.
Present.
Councilor Gowdy.
Present.
Councilor Smith.
Present.
We have our Mayor King present for the administration. Our Law Director, Willow Hemmons, present. Belinda Powell, Executive to the Mayor, is also present.
Thank you. We're going to have remarks of public on agenda items, 2 minutes. But first, I would like to welcome you all to the to this new year. Happy New Year! Welcome you all to the City Council, the City of East Cleveland City Council meeting, and look forward to hearing your
2 cents. Uh-oh. Today's Tuesday. We're going into Wednesday.
You ready? Yes, please. Set the stage for me. Say your name, your address. No, please. I said please.
Same as it been, Omaze, 1860 Rock. East Cleveland.
Thank you.
Resolution 3219. A resolution to require that all city employees take an oath of office pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, section 705-28. It does not specify as to whom should take an oath. It says all employees. And so I'm wondering where just a regular employee, what oath of office he's going to take or she going to take. They don't hold, I think it should be people specifically holding offices here, like department heads and things of that nature, that they will execute their job or whatever. But I just cannot see or fathom this. Maybe you know. It doesn't say in the preamble, it should state specifically in the preamble as to what this entails. And it's not in the preamble. So I would like someone to elucidate on that. And I'm asking, please elucidate as to what employees are you addressing here. It should take out all city employees. That covers everyone that work for the city. A resolution authorizes the city of East Cleveland participate in the Cuyahoga County Budget Commission, and I hope you will, if we're going to get some money. But the one more importantly is Ordinance 120, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to continue the service for 5,000.
That's 2 minutes.
Well, anyway, I want someone to elucidate on that particular item.
Yes, I appreciate it. It's the first reading too.
Well, let's read the second reading. That's still
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Anyone else?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Well, thank you. Next we have minutes to be approved. Seeing no minutes. We move on to reports and announcements from Mayor Brandon L. King.
Thank you, Council President. Welcome to Cleveland. Our first council meeting, 2020, in the new council class. We have our newly elected officials with us. We have our former Council President, Joey. It's good to see you. Still active, still involved. Thank you. Lot to discuss, a lot going on in the city, but I'll push all of my announcements and reports to the side for just a couple moments to talk about yet another historic day for the city of East Cleveland, right? As the majority of people in the audience know, today we're fortunate enough to have our Governor DeWine here in the city for a number of reasons, one of which was the unfortunate accident which happened at Euclid and Stanwood. Other reasons, his commitment to the city and the economic development, the rebuilding of East Cleveland. So I'd like to thank the governor. I'd like to thank our Senator Yuko, State Rep Kent Smith, the various representatives who are here from the Ohio Department of Transportation, our Judge Dawson, who spent most of the day with us, Council President, and various members of council who also spent a good majority of the day with us. And I'd like to also thank, although we had his regrets, he could not make it, and that is our county exec, Mr. Ernie Booth. So again, for those of you who weren't with us today or didn't catch the news, yet another historic day. We're able to take the governor through a number of redevelopment sites, a number of redevelopment plans, and areas that we're looking at to transform the city and rebuild the city together. So, again, beautiful day. I'm excited. Stay tuned, East Cleveland. Thank you all for coming out. Those of you who did. If there's any questions or concerns, that will conclude my report.
Thank you, Mayor King.
Council,
Yes.
you want to make sure you turn your phones off
Yes.
before y'all.
Yeah. Please, no, all right. Please, in the audience, please, all phones should be off or on vibrate, please, including us up here. Next, we have receipts of communication. We have 3 communications.
Let me read the cute first one. I missed the last one.
You want me to read it?
Let me use up here.
I can read. From Starlight Baptist Church, which is located at 14516 Euclid Avenue, East Cleveland. Human trafficking prayer vigil. On this day, the community shall unite to pray for the families of victims who have failed to national slavery and human trafficking. Hosted by Pastor Anthony Small of Starlight Baptist Church, Director Curtis Freed of Strong Hands United, January 11, 2020, time 12 p.m., light refreshments. Our second communication, East Cleveland Concerned Pastors for Progress, honoring the late great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. January 18, 2020, parade lineup at 9 a.m. begins at 10 a.m. At the East Cleveland Public Library, 14101 Euclid Avenue, East Cleveland, Ohio. It actually says Cleveland, Ohio. It should say East Cleveland, Ohio. Please join the East Cleveland City Hall, Police and Fire, East Cleveland City Council, East Cleveland Courts, Judge Dawson, East Cleveland Board of Education, East Cleveland Public Library, Urban League of Great Cleveland. Services at 12 noon, Starlight Baptist Church. Reverend Anthony L. Small, Sr., President. The third one, the final one, is from Curtis Freed, Director of Strong Hands United, to community and religious leaders. Oh, this is the same one. Just a different, just inviting us out to Starlight Baptist Church, January 11th at 12 p.m. Thank you.
The third piece of communication actually came from the Western Reserve Municipal Clerks Association, which I am a member of. I'm a member of a couple of local and also international and Ohio courts associations, but they have asked me to represent them as their president. I accepted, so I'll be leading them this year.
Congratulations. Congratulations. All right. Next we have reports from council committees. We're in the process of assigning our new committees. We have it on rough draft. We just have to type them out. But contracts and property, health and safety, finance, general service, personnel appointment. You'll have to draft this. I think I remember. Health and safety will still be Councilman Martin.
Need this.
The draft.
Need that.
No, I have. So Councilman Martin, you can go first. Health and safety.
Yeah, I'd be glad to speak. I spoke with the chief of police and the chief of fire today at the historic event with the governor being here in the city of East Cleveland. In my 26 years on this council, we've never had a governor come here, to my knowledge, for that historic event. So I think you ought to give the mayor a round of applause and everybody involved. But we had I guess you would call it debriefing, where the chief of police and the chief of fire had a chance to speak with the governor and kind of presented to the governor some requests that he's willing to try to help with. That's another positive. The next meeting of the health and safety is scheduled for the 14th.
You all have to.
It's the second. I haven't changed it the same time, so
I
it'd be
don't
the.
know if you all are gonna make any changes.
I'm still going to go with that time, and I think I don't know what Brother Smith is going to do with, because we used to meet the same day, but it's going to be the second. What's it? The second Tuesday. And I've already spoken. You can confirm with the mayor to make. I would have the fire chief come and the police chief come at that meeting. And one thing that we're going to bring back up for one last time, and that is the reduce the speed on Euclid Avenue. Now, we've discussed that 3 months, and we tweaked it and all like that, and I think we're ready to act on it now. But for the new council members, Corrine Stevenson and Juanita Gotti, they may want to have some input. But after that meeting, I want to have it introduced, to vote it up or vote it down, and I'm not going to deal with it anymore. So that's going to be the essence of that meeting. That'll be January 14th in this room at 5:30. Mr. Chairman, that concludes health and safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Martin.
City council, are you all going to change?
We just did. We keep the same. Chairman.
I got you. I gave it to her. Next, we doing contracts and property, which was our former great president Joy. Now we're gonna now Councilman Tim Austin will take up the reins of contracts and property.
What was the day before?
The last date, the date hers is on Thursday.
We'll just keep it the status quo. We'll remain the same date, same time, same location.
Alrighty.
That's January 9th
Next meeting will be January 9th
at 6:30.
at 6:30 in this room.
Next, general services will be our newly elected Council Vice President, Corinne Stevenson. But Tim Austin,
5:30.
Councilman Austin, he might have a.
Fourth Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. in this room.
That'll be the 28th.
As far as reports and announcement for general services, over the last few weeks, there's been several challenges from lights out to taking the opportunity to use some of the new equipment they have down in the service department. The salt trucks have been working very well with the limited activity they've had over the last month, which has been a phenomenal opportunity to watch. As you can see, the leaf pickup is still ongoing today. So there, if you got your leaf to the curb. They've been backed up. If they haven't been backed up, and you plan on putting some to the curb, if you will call our service department, Mr. Marshall will get over there and have the folks, have those needs taken care of, and have his folks out there on the front line continue to take care of the city. I continue to ask for the citizens' effort in keeping our community clean as best we can. And as a reminder, if you have a mattress or furniture with cloth on it, it has to be wrapped in plastic, and that will prevent the gas, or correction, the trash folks from bypassing your residence because you have furniture out there. And if you have a large amount of debris, let our service department know, and also call 1P directly and let them know you have a large amount of stuff to be recovered. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Austin. Personnel appointments will be led by our great newly elected councilwoman, Juanita Gowdy.
That's gonna be Sunday, January 28th, Thursday, that'll be at 6:30. Did you wanna go with the Tuesday, Thursday? One meeting?
No, you can change it. You want to keep it the same or you want to change it?
I like it, I'll do Tuesday.
She got on the Tuesday?
I mean, it'd be right after the general services.
Tuesday, so yours would be at Thursday.
Because I thought you guys wanted to do them all Tuesday, Thursday, at 6:30.
So you want to do a Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Can't you do the, well, me and Martin have already on Tuesday. What about the third Tuesday of the month?
Third Tuesday of the month is usually the regular council.
That's a regular council meeting. Fourth Tuesday.
It would have to be a Thursday. Fourth Tuesday.
Fourth Tuesday?
So it'd be right after the general service.
Fourth
The general
Tuesday,
service
yeah.
moves to Thursday. That's
All right, thank you. Do you have anything?
No, I just,
Okay.
I'll set the thing.
The next finance committee meeting, I beg of you all to come, will be January 9th at 6:30. It's always the third Tuesday of the month. Second Tuesday of the month. I'm sorry.
Who's chairing
Excuse me?
it? You just said chairperson.
Finance committee. Oh, Ernest L. Smith. I'm still the finance. Thank you, sir. Still the finance chair of finance. Okay. Proclamations.
There are none at this time.
There are none. Bids.
None at this time.
There are none. Legislation. There is.
Okay, we have resolution number 32-19, second read, a resolution to require that all city employees take the oath of office pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 705.28, requested by the council president, Ernest L. Smith, sponsored by council as a whole.
This is a two read, and I would like to sponsor resolution number 32-19 for its adoption with some clarity.
Do we have a second? Have a second?
Second,
No
and that
second.
means the legislation died. Have to revisit it.
Okay. Next up, so resolution number 32-19 died because of lack of a second. All right. And, move on to the next one, Dr. Josh.
Resolution number 33-19 is the second read. This is a resolution authorizing the City of East Cleveland's participation in the Cuyahoga County Budget Commission Tax Advancement Program for fiscal year 2020, requested by the Finance Director Charles Earhan, sponsored by the Finance Committee. At that time it was the chair, but the Council President Ernest L. Smith.
Councilman, this resolution bears the name with the pleasure.
Thank you. I'd like to sponsor resolution number 33-19 and move for its adoption.
I second that motion.
Thank you.
Discussion?
Do we need any?
It's a standard piece that we do every year through the county as the Budget Tax Commission. Most of us are aware of it. And is Charles here?
I just saw.
I saw him a minute ago. I would suggest, Mr. President, you have him to say something, but it's a standard piece, something we need to act on immediately.
I just saw. Is it any left? Request from my colleague.
Okay, we can move on.
All right.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
Counselor Austin,
Yes.
Counselor Stevenson,
I vote yes.
Counselor Martin,
Yay.
Counselor Gowdy,
Yay.
Counselor Smith.
Yay.
Okay, resolution number 33-19 is passed. Okay, ordinance number 01-20, first ordinance of the year. First read, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to continue the services for $5,500 of the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District for the purpose of providing technical assistance in implementing soil and water conservation measures in order to implement the public involvement and public education, PIPE, requirement under the Ohio EPA Municipal Separate Storm Sewer Discharge, which is the MS4 permit. Requested by the Mayor Brendan L. King and sponsored by Timothy R. Austin, Council at Large.
Thank you. This ordinance is a first read. Councilman Austin, you have any state input?
Yes, this is an opportunity for us to get some more education and training as it pertains to the Clean Water Project and getting smart about what's good for our environment. We're going to conduct some more public hearings, some public discussion on where we go from here and the best practices for our community.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add a caveat to that.
Yes, sir.
It says here, real briefly, since 2017, your community has entered into an agreement with the Cuyahoga County Soil and Water Conservation District and the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District for services related to your community mandated public involvement and public education program under Ohio EPA Municipal Separate Storm Sewer Discharge, MS4. The Cuyahoga SWCD was implemented for annual program at a cost of $5,500. This is the key point in this, which was reimbursed by the Northeast Ohio Sewer District. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Beautiful. Thank you, Councilman.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
That was a first read. Thank you very much to my colleague. Next we have remarks and requests of the public. 3 minutes, please.
Justin Anderson, 14436 Terrace Road. I start with the legislation that didn't get a second. First, I want to thank former Council President Joey Graham for coming up with that legislation. And the legislation is designed for the employees. They probably should have went a little more into detail, like Mr. May said, but it's designed for employees to take the oath of office. And that, in a certain way, that kind of protects the city if things go wrong. So, like, the revised code, our charter's silent when it comes to the law director for most issues. So, not to throw any stones or anything at her, but the revised code states that you must be a full-time law director. We went over this a lot. And what that legislation would have done was forced her to take an oath of office, which if you take an oath of office for that position, you have to be a full-time employee of the city. And I believe that we would have benefited more that way. But hopefully that can come up in the future when it's a little bit more detailed. And I also want to give a personal thank you to Mrs. Juanita Gowdy for bringing the governor to East Cleveland. Her, Nate Martin, and Ernest Smith, that when the tragedy happened, as soon as it happened, they immediately took a stand to get justice for their family. And I'm thankful that they did move in the right direction. So another thing I want to talk about is the street sweeper. Oh, first of all, it was great today. The mayor, your staff conducted themselves better than I've ever seen. They were they were professional. They were professional, and they did a really great job today. Also, I want to talk about the street sweeper. Our streets are really dirty. So if we do have a street sweeper, can we probably put together maybe some type of third shift where a worker can come in and drive the street sweeper and clean our streets? Maybe that's an extra way for them to get some extra money. And the ordinance book. Each council member should have a green book. If you haven't memorized the entire charter, you should have the charter and maybe and definitely the ordinance book. I don't know when you guys are going to have it, but that should have been. You already all should have the ordinance book at least, because you can get the charter online, and you can get most of the ordinances online, but you should at least have the ordinance book here. And hopefully you all read the contract with the Soil and Water District. And like I said, today was a historical event. It was really good. And I'm glad he came. And we showed out as a city, and we were really good, professional. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Good evening, Council. How you doing? I want to congratulate the ladies.
Name I have that, please.
Oh, Latisha Bars, 14517 Stratford, East Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, thank you. Yes, I want to congratulate you ladies. You know, you bring beauty to the council. But my position, what I'm trying to do is that these president candidates, they trying to avoid reparations. In politics, only a squeaky wheel get avoided. So what we want to do is to challenge them to put it on the ballot. I mean, well, you know, so they could sway the conversation, because if we had reparations, East Cleveland wouldn't be like this. Okay? And if we had reparations, that if we pushed for reparations, we might be able to get people who got college debts cleaned up. 100 years of free college, you know, if we united and put it on the ballot, or try to get it, you know, get it passed through. So I wanted to say that I'm running as an independent in the 11th district, and I'm an East Clevelander, and I wanted to get some support. And what I mean about support, you know, we have rallies, that we have a permit to do that. And I wanted to know if I could sit down with you, Mayor, and we talk about that. Hello?
Oh, you have to answer afterward.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to do, and that's what we need to do as a people, because we don't need to keep begging people for money, you know? Men don't beg. Men go out and get it and make it happen. Okay? So that's what I wanted to talk to you.
Thanks, sir.
Terry A. Tolfrey, 14511 Church Road, Mayor, Council, new Council people. Yes, we have two new queens up there. Thank you. I came down walking other day I was walking down Marlowe's, no lights, except when you get to the police station. There's a tall light, a street light there. I came down, walked down Rosemont, no lights. Evidently they're trying to tell me to join the church, because that's the only place a light was, a street light is. They're trying to make me join the church. There's something going on there. That's the only place a street light is. And thank the governor for coming in, but I figured I didn't want to come today because I got another issue with this state that has to do with women's bodies, and I didn't want to go and end up in East Cleveland jail. So we got some issues, lots of issues with lights and stuff, And we gotta deal with, as I said, thanks to Mr. Austin, who took me home the other time because somebody forgot to pick me up and left me. As I said to him in the car, in regards to referring to Walgreens and other businesses, somebody told me we were competing with some award out there to try to keep our Walgreens. I don't know what's going on, but we're not a ward. We're a city. I don't want to become a township. We're the city of East Cleveland, Ohio, and we're going to fight for staying the city of East Cleveland, Ohio.
Shirley Fitzpatrick, 1884 Hillside Avenue. I have 3 issues. Number 1, in regards to the traffic lights. I heard today that slowly some of the traffic lights are going back up. Can we have a list of which ones are going back up as far as transparency? Which ones are going back up? I believe the one at Collier and Burnett should go back up. That's a strange intersection where Angela Mees is. We got people in wheelchairs or walkers. We got seniors. It's near Helen S. Brown, and that's a dangerous intersection also. I heard that street lights are supposed to be coming to East Cleveland. Can we have a list of what streets are going to get street lights as part of transparency? I don't want to just see people that on NOAA getting street lights. See, we're going through this issue again. You do not have to belong to NOAA in order to get service. If you pay taxes in East Cleveland, you get the same services. The same services. The last thing, census. I don't know how much emphasis council and administration is stressing to the people of East Cleveland that they have to be part of the census. That's one reason why we don't get money. People aren't counted, so we get left out with well-needed money that we need. So we have to really pump up that people can't shy away from the census just because you got a record. You can't shy away from it. You have to be counted. That's the only way, well, one of the only ways that East Cleveland's going to get money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take that last one. Only way East Cleveland gonna get some money to start building and doing some rehab and stop tearing down everything. That's how we're gonna get money. Number 2.
Name and address, please. Just like everybody else. Ain't no time clicking.
18 Rochester Road.
Thank you. Real easy.
The law director is a full-time position, and it's not the Ohio Revised Code stipulates that. The law and the charter of East Cleveland stipulates that. Passed by this council, and you're looking at the person who wrote that legislation. Number 2, there has been another governor, Dick Celeste, have come to this city many times. So, so DeWine is not the first one. Number 2 and number 3. My heart is heavy for the lady that was killed. I've stood at this mic before and I told you it was an accident. It happened. And it happened within 2 or 3 weeks. I have stood here and said that time and time again. I'm glad, as someone was saying, that the governor came and we getting the lights up and within a day. Got putting one up here at Milo's, which I stood here and emphasize that because the kids coming across the street. You need to put one back at Dome and Hayton. That's very serious there. That light need to go back up there as well. And so thank you for hearing me for the lights. Number 2, number 3 or 4.
Number 4.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to look you in the face. When are you going to put lights up at?
You got to adjust all councils. You know that.
Well, this falls under administration.
I appreciate that.
And Well, I'll address council.
Thank
When is council going to get on the mayor to see that he does his job as the mayor in reference to lights on Milo's, lights on Rockwood, lights on Rosemont, lights on Terrace, street lights. We pay taxes and we want some lights here in the city. Now, it's time out, and that's been over a year or more. And you can attest to that, the older ones sitting up here. I've said that time. Some of them just need bulbs. So, well, get out there and put the lights on. The people in dark got to burn their house light for to be able to see.
Thank you. That's 3 minutes.
No, it's not, because you stopped me and you told me you wasn't giving no time. So,
20 seconds.
but
That's
okay.
thank you.
So this piece of legislation that no one voted on, I said it, I told you again, there is no, it has a sponsor and co-sponsors. That's the way legislation is supposed to be written, not sponsored by council as a whole. There's no one up here about council as a whole. Everyone has a name. It's co-sponsored by a council person and co-sponsored by the other council members.
Thank you, former
Good evening, Jacqueline Goodrum, 1907 Rosemont. Yes, those lights, the only light is down there by the church. And it's I was coming home one evening and there were some young children out riding bikes right at Terrace in Rosemont. And my friend almost ran into them.
Wow.
You know, so I hope we don't have to have another killing for somebody to get some sympathy and to get those lights taken care of. They should have never been dead in the first place. I'd like to say congratulations to two sister queens. And congratulations on your new appointment, And I hope that this is the time that the whole council at large will do what needs to be done for the city. Please don't make no more backyard, behind the door deals. Stop lining your pockets and selling our people out, the city out, to get a proper resale, because this is the year 2020 and God is looking at everything that you do and everything that you say. And like I told Mayor Eric, what's his name, Norton, when he was here, what God was going to do to him, he's out. And I'm going to say the same thing. If you don't do what you're doing the right thing, God is going to bring wrath on you if you're not doing right. So Apostle Gotti, congratulations. I'm proud of you. It's not about how much money you have, what degree you have, or who you know. It's about your heart doing the right thing. And that's why God placed other people to vote for you, because the other person that was, the other person was running, I worked the poll. She came in and was telling people that this woman was going around telling people she's a Republican and telling people to vote for her. So I called the Board of Elections on Shay Gasson. Yes, I did. And other people. Then she had some bunny ears out there trying to disguise herself. And people say, trying to cheat, trying to tell people, you're supposed to be 100 yards away. So that's why she didn't win, because God don't like ugly. So congratulations. Continue to stay humble. Continue to stay and keep your integrity. And I know you're not going to be a sellout for nothing. So I want to congratulate you again. But I'm just saying, God is going to watch everything you do. It's just like when he has a smirk on his face, he's gone now too. So y'all get rid of too. So that's what I'm here to tell you right now. Do what's right, or else God won't get you.
Gladys Walcott, 23319, excuse me, 3rd Avenue, Mayor, President of Council and entire council. First of all, I want to congratulate the new councilors on your election. It's a 24/7 position. Also, it's something that is voluntarily, because the $40,000, well, not $40,000, $4,000 a year is just a stipend. So actually, we know that you have to want to do what you're doing, want to serve the community in order to take this position. So I trust that you will do your research and think for yourself and serve the community. Be an independent thinker. Listen, read, and think for yourself. And not just because something is political or somebody swayed you into something, but do your own thinking. Also, I would like to say that there are a number of things that have not been done, and of course I agree with former Councilor Mays. Governors have been to this city several times. So before you start speaking out about a first, check the record. Check the record. Also check the record on the number of legislation that was passed in 1 year. Check that, because I have legislative dockets that prove differently. Also, I hope that you will utilize some of the boards and commissions. The CAC, Citizens Advisory Board, each councilor gets 10 appointments from the community. Could be your eyes and ears in the community. I don't know if there's an appointment already on the Planning Commission. I haven't heard about the Planning Commission meeting. The Historical Preservation Board, I haven't heard that any of those boards are meeting or are in place. And if they are, I would like for the clerk to send me the list of the names of the people and when those meetings are held. Also, Charter Review Commission. The charter haven't been reviewed in a number of years, and I think everyone here knows that need to be updated, because there are a lot of things that you say that is not in the existing charter, and all it takes is to review the charter and make it right so that you will not be in violation. So I congratulate you, and I pray that you will work together for the good of the entire community. God bless you all.
Thank you.
David Radcliffe Sr., 1860 Hastings. I want to know about the leaves. Since October, people on my street, we put the leaves on the corner since October. Last time and when y'all said they were starting up the hill, and they ain't got down the hill yet, and that's what I really want to know about, because the leaves, they getting the blowing down, they get to end up in our sewer, and then they start flooding everywhere. So I heard in the back that we supposed to call, I guess now, before I thought they were just coming, but I think you said something about we got to call the service department. So if that's it, let me know. So that's why I have to call the service department? Okay, see, I didn't know that. Just want to say congratulations to new council ladies, Ms. Gowdy, Ms. Stevenson. I'm in your ward. When I first bought my house in 03, I had Ms. Brewer, so I'm used to a certain type of councilwoman. Me and my wife, and my street, and the people in my community. That's why you up there, because people don't I don't even know me or my wife, and we voted for you because the representation that we've been getting. Not saying it was bad, but I think it could have been done better. So like I said again, I don't know you, don't know you at all, but voted for you because I want some new blood up in here. So please, I'm not asking you to do Miss Brewer shoes, but half of them, if you can. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Kelvin Irby, 14802 at Elm Avenue, East Cleveland. Sorry about that. That's all right. I noticed something tonight. As an employee of East Cleveland, you have no right to come up here and speak unless you're speaking on the mayor's time. I want that implemented and understood. My problem tonight is that East Cleveland forgot outside officers are not to enter East Cleveland without East Cleveland officers. I'm gonna say this to our council at large: do your job. I'm gonna say to the mayor, whose day-to-day operations is to make sure that our families come home. I'm gonna say this to day-to-day operations again. Our families are more important just than politicians. If you want to show shine them, where was you at when that child got hit? Where was you at when young lady of 7 children lost her life? If you were doing your job of day-to-day operations, there would be no deaths. Now you have lights out in our city. You have contractors putting their cones and nobody's moving. We ourselves are moving to Combs because we see where they should and shouldn't be. Now, as for our police chief, who so embarrassed that he couldn't come in here and talk to us, it's time for y'all to talk to him. If he cannot represent East Cleveland, bye, because he's not welcome here. If those who are in East Cleveland of power, let us represent the power in East Cleveland. Nobody should come in here and tell us how to run our city. And I make this statement every time that I come up here. If you cannot do the job, step down voluntarily. Because to embarrass you by recalling you, and there's not one person up there except for the 2 new ones that come here that you can be replaced. You can't be replaced. The power is in the people. Don't count those that are behind you, because those that are in front of you today are the ones with the same problem that we had last year. You still got chuck holes in our street, underpaid staff. You got houses that's been demoed, nothing's going back. And then, like we said, economy is failing. There's no stores in East Cleveland. There's no shipping. And the main thing that our councilor at large is saying, that we have revenue in East Cleveland. Why is there nothing built here? Why?
Thank you, Mr. Irvin. Thank you to the great people of East Cleveland. Now we will have response of council and mayor to remarks of the public. 5 minutes, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. I would like to thank you all for coming out tonight. Appreciate your attendance and your kind remarks and remarks in general. If for some reason some of your questions or concerns aren't answered, I will be in my usual seat just outside of the courtroom afterwards to take any of your questions or concerns that you may have. In regards to the leaf, there's been a little confusion in the leaf pickup. We did make an initial run through, and now we're kind of picking up where phone calls are made to pick up. So I'm not sure when they were on your street, but we did make the initial run for leaf pickup. So kindly call and we'll get to it. If you would like to speak further in regards to your presidential candidacy, if I'm understanding you correctly, Congressional candidacy, please contact my office and we'll see about getting you in and speak further in that regard. I am still excited. Today was an historic day, and as we all know from us counselors who've been up here for any number of years and our senior statesmen, if we say we're the first to do A, somebody say no, we did it first. So let me restate it. It's a historic day in East Cleveland. As your mayor, this was my first time having a state governor here in my office. I was told that was the first time that the governor's ever been to the office of the mayor in the city of East Cleveland. Maybe they met a Republican governor, because he is Republican. We are a Democratic stronghold. However, we need resources, and I don't think anyone's going to sit around bickering about Democrat, Republican, Orange Party.
That's right.
Please stay with us as we continue to move this great city forward. Again, thank you for coming out. There's no questions or concerns of me, Council President. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So the lights have been ordered. We have been discussing the lights since Halloween, when we bought the legislation. We got everything situated. We bought the legislation down to vote on so that we could order them. And it was somewhere around November. We said 12 weeks. We're expecting to have the lights in end of this month, sometime in February, at which time we should have a schedule as to where the lights are going and when. Again, light priority is determined. Say a street has no lights, Every street gets one light. Every street has one light. The street gets 2 lights. This is just an example. It's a rough example of how we determine where lights should go. There are some streets that are mentioned, there are no residents on that street. No one should be on that street. There's some streets we put do not enter signs because there's no residents there. No one should be back there. We will not, unless the residents tell me they want a light, a precious light, limited light on the street where nobody lives. Unless I get that from the people which I serve, we don't intend on putting lights on some of those streets. But we will come out with a schedule and a placement for where the new poles that will be here, and in this month, February, will go. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Martin.
I rise to speak. Thank you. I think it's important, and it was articulated that we've had governors here.
Yes, we have.
But to my knowledge, we've never had a Republican governor come here. And here's what I want you to grasp and comprehend. He didn't have to come here. We're a Democratic stronghold. He's absolutely right. But he came here and he listened to the citizens. A light went up immediately before he got here to show you what power is at where I used to stay at Stanwood Euclid. And all the media was there. This is a significant day for East Cleveland. Black on black, all the organizations, everybody played a role in it. But don't downplay how important it was. We're moving in the right direction. What is the role of a city council? The role of the city council is to check and balance. We stay on top of what's going on. In Cleveland, they're getting ready to have a vote in March to reduce the council.
That's correct.
And reduce their salaries. The role of the council is to check and balance. So we don't argue all the time, but we have to stay on top of it. That's why it's 5 of us and 1 of him. But we have to carpe diem, seize the positive, and work on it. We've had our differences over years, but that's a growing pain. We grow. But we're moving in the right direction. I can reflect on the mayor who wouldn't half the time come to a meeting. He comes and he stays. He doesn't miss the committee meetings. We have to acknowledge that. We don't always agree. Give it up to the man. Give it up to the man. Give it up. Because it's important. It's important. I'll be doing this maybe a few more years, and then we're going to turn on to new people and young people. But we have to work together. I was involved in a program last week at the East Cleveland Public Library, Kwanzaa. And they have a term called Harabium. Harambe. Harambe. I pronounced it wrong. Harambe. But I bring that up for this reason. Pull together. That's the only alternative here. With the revenue. Over the last 20-something years that I've been here, what has happened to bring us down is the fact that we don't have the revenue. We don't have the tax base. We've lost the tax base. We get these houses renovated, get people in here. University Circle and that area down there dying to come in here and take this over and buy you out and gentrify you. Gentrify means that you can't, when they come in here and buy this stuff and build, you can't afford it.
That's right.
You'll be priced out.
That's right.
So this group up here, all 5 of them are important. This man is important. So we got to work together. We're not going to always agree. But we have a mission. We have a responsibility to make things better for ourselves, but better for our kids. I've spoken. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Martin. Councilwoman Gowdy.
Well, I really want to thank you for coming out tonight and voting for me for Ward 2 as your councilwoman. And those who didn't vote for me, I still would like to work with you as your councilwoman. As far as the governor coming, Governor DeWine, I thank God that he came, but it was the time of a tragedy that he came. And I refer for him to come at a good time. You know, this is really sad. And it hurts because I feel like, what's next, But I'm going to try to work with council, but I will disagree because if it's not right, I'm going to disagree. And I have my own mind. But I do want you to know that this was necessary for those lights to be up. Those lights should never went down.
That's right.
And without nothing in return. And I'm not going to give no praise to nobody because at this time I'm still mourning. It was 2 days, maybe 3 or 4, And I'm looking forward to work with this council. We did not get no notice at all. I was in Dr. Guy's office yesterday in the mayor, and I was in front of Belinda. We never got a notice that the governor was coming. And it's really sad, because I'm part of council and Martin should have got a notice that the governor was coming. Art McCoy, he did write the letter and he was on TV, but I was out there too, and Martin was out there. And it's just a sad situation, and I hope that this never happen again. We don't know what we up against, because somebody gonna get some money out of this, and that family deserve that money. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman McDowell. Councilwoman Stevenson.
I just want to say hello to everybody. For those of you who I don't know, Ward 4 is the largest ward in the city. I would ask the gentleman to stay after and we can have a conversation. And if you are sitting in Ward 4, I would ask that if you have anything that you need from me, to stay after. I'll try to resolve it as soon as I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gaddis. Councilman Tim Austin.
Amen.
I'm sorry, wait. I said Councilwoman Gaddis. I apologize. Councilwoman Stevens. Catch myself. Thank you. Councilman Tim Austin.
Amen. Well, I appreciate you coming out as well. There's a lot of good work going on. I learned something today when the governor and the director from the Ohio Department of Transportation came out. He reminded us that there was expected to be a light at Strathmore and Stanwood, right, as you're rolling down Euclid. And the light went out because it's been flashing for a long time. Yellow, but nobody really stopping at it. But he reminded us that we had the right infrastructure in place. That's how they were able to get it up in one day. They came out to check it and decided to put it back, and it's a temporary light. So we are going to get the more technically advanced system as they continue to make our city better. Euclid Avenue was being paid from Euclid and Superior being paid. Yes, and they remind us that they moved it up 2 years on our behalf because they know what condition that the roads are in. So that was justifiable for them to move it to the left by 2 years. It was a big ask by the mayor, and they agreed to do that for us. They talked about some of the technology that they're going to attempt to instate in our footprint. And oftentimes we have motion detectors that, carry us up our driveway. So imagine if our crosswalk, if the technology they want to implement in our city, because they know that they're trying to not just give us the basic infrastructure support. They want to give us motion detector system that when you step to the crosswalk, it tells the traffic is about to be somebody, a pedestrian in the crosswalk. Y'all need to take the appropriate action. And it's based on your emotion. You don't have to push the button. It's going to see you. Yeah, do what they call it? Eagle eye, is that what you said? Hawkeye. So there's some information that we received today because they care enough, and we didn't ask them for it. They told us about it. These are things we're trying to seek the funding on your behalf, and there's no match required. We're going to pay for it 100% if the money is available. So again, today was indeed a phenomenal day, at least for me. As it pertains to the street lights, we all got some work to do. Let me tell you why. If there is a wooden pole that does not have a light that's operational on it, there's going to be a number on that pole. I don't have my phone in my pocket because anybody can Google the number for the illuminating company or CEI. They are responsible for providing services to those poles. If they're one, they don't belong to the service department. The mayor can't fix that. If they see the mayor going up their pole, they gonna want to know why. But if we see their poles not operating properly, I call because I care enough. And I got to run around, the same run around you get, stay on hold, enter your phone number, hang up the phone, they hung up on me. But I didn't let that go. My point is, I want you to have the same persistence and one desire to fix the issues that are in our community that I have. If it's a metal pole, those are the ones that we can ask the mayor why they're not working properly. If it's a metal pole, it's not working properly, those are the ones we can bring back to City Hall and ask the crazy question. Who can we get to take care of this? And I know, for the last 2 years, we have private contractors that the mayor has had a contract with to get those things that belong to our city taken care of because we don't have an electrician on staff. And the resources that we put out there, nobody can take the job because there's not enough money. So more to follow as we get to a place where it's better. And the only thing I'm doing is provide information, the facts. There's some discussion about how we move forward getting our charter updated. There's a charter review commission that we are trying to ask our residents, and we're gonna make it official. And I don't want to speak out of turn, but this is some discussion that we've been having because we want our charter to reflect something that said 2000 and something. Hello? So we're gonna get to that place, and with great respect to our police chief, I've called him in on many occasions, and he's present. He's not the kind of flamboyant person who's gonna, I'm the police chief and bang on the desk. That's not what he does. The gentleman that we have right now as our acting chief is performing behind the scenes and asking questions and seeking solutions in a quiet, professional way. And that is okay with me. And we asked him at the forum the other night to protect our citizens in a way that we feel like we're being taken care of by the police. Don't make it so that citizens have to take care of the police. You step out with the expectation you're going to take care of this problem and not harass the crap out of them and not put them in a situation where they have to feel threatened by your presence. So we're asking of the police to police our streets in a way that keeps us safe and not provide us an atmosphere or a climate where we feel the police officers that are supposed to serve and be protected. So again, this council, they care. And these are things that matter to me. Brother President, thank you very much for your time. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Austin. To my colleague, Mr. Mayor, Madam Law Director, our great clerk, Dr. Guy, our cameraman Drew, our Chief of Staff, Assistant Law Director, our Mayor's Assistant, our unofficial. Now, most importantly, I want to thank you all, my neighbors, the great people of East Cleveland. It's cold outside. Could have been anywhere else besides here. I want to congratulate our new colleagues, Ms. Stevenson and Ms. Gowdy. I want to congratulate our former colleagues, former Madam President Graham and Che Gaddison. I want to thank anyone who campaigned for office, attempted to even get out here and get signatures. It's hard. It's not easy. And a lot of people around here, they just talk. So for you to get up and go do what you have to do to serve the health, interest, rights, and needs of the people, for economic, social, and political change, I thank you both for that. I want to say, on behalf of all of us, our deepest condolences to the family of Tamia Chapman. That's the young lady situation out here in front of by the library. And Tara Noden, situation down this way on the corner of Strathmore. Ms. Noden and her family are my neighbors. I live on that half of Strathmore. So just wanted to officially bring their name up in our meeting and say rest to them. The census man, Lonnie, appreciate it. The census is very, very important. What I like to say about that is we also need you all's help. Yes, we can do more. Getting the word out, we need your help to talk to your neighbors, your friends, your children, and things of that nature. Street lights, as the mayor stated for the past couple of months, they on order. it's our responsibility as nah, I didn't say you did anything wrong. You want street lights on your street. You want lights on your street. Again, I can state again. I can just speak for myself. The mayor has spoken, and we as council are going to work with the mayor to make sure. And no, you do not have to be in a street club. We stated that's time and time again, but we will make sure. Now, you know, we on limited budget, limited funding, limited lights. So we're going to do the best we can. And anybody who ever has called me in Ward 3 know that I'm telling the truth. We're going to work directly together, do what we have to do to get the lights up that we need. Councilman, my colleagues always taking my little final reports. I also want to stress the fact about that those are the Illuminating Company CEI lights out there on Euclid. It's a shame that they're out. We need to do more. We, on top of we, because imagine all of us in this room calling on top of the elected officials. The elected officials cannot do it all. That's how I got here. Remember, for those of you who know me, I'm one of you. One of the people. I am the people. And believe me, the people cannot, the elected officials cannot do it all. The people are the first and foremost wall. The people are the most important entity in East Cleveland. We up here work for you.
Thank you. Tell them again.
So we need you all's help to pick the phone up and call the Illuminating Company and tell them we need our lights on Euclid. Period. We need your help. We need your help. So again, to the family of Tamia Chapman and Tara Nolan, I thank you. To my new colleagues, we thank you. To our former colleagues, we thank you. To our community organizations out there, we thank you. To our regular citizens out there, we thank you. To anyone out there lifting a finger to serve the health, interest, rights, and needs of the people, we thank you.
You're welcome.
On that note,
Council President, so again, I've been so excited by our day today. It's a big day for East Cleveland. Like Councilman Martin said, he did not have to come here, and we know that. It's unfortunate. One of the reasons that precipitated him coming here faster than he would have was that, but he didn't really have to come here. Me thinking about the day, we actually have been in contact with CEI. And if you'd like to hear that report, I will have the Chief of Staff give you that report, because we've been chasing down CEI for months. We've been talking about this for months, right? So we have an update if you would like that update.
I believe that's very important for the. I thank you for that, and if my colleagues will bear with me, because a lot of people they don't get to hear this information, and a lot of work that has been done, a lot of people think that it's not being done. So I'm glad you said that, Chief of Staff, if you will.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mr. President. For several years now, probably about 6 years, we had intermittent power going to and from the lights on Euclid Avenue and on Hayden. There has been complaints since Ross Brancatelli was here as the city engineer. Over the past couple of months, we've been talking about it more intently. We had a new government affairs person by the name of Darnella Robinson, who came to the city of East Cleveland back in September, and in her new job, we said, hey, we have a problem with streetlights in East Cleveland that First Energy, for the poles that First Energy owns. We got nowhere with her. Yesterday, the mayor sent a scathing email to her boss by the name of Terry Killeen, asking the man to call him immediately. Mr. Killeen called him. The mayor told him what his next steps will be if the city of East Cleveland or residents of East Cleveland got no relief, that he would go to Mark Jones, who is the area president of First Energy, and then from there go to PUCO, which is the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio, to lodge formal complaints. Today, CEI sent out their engineering crews, and if you go out here to the corner of Marlos and Euclid, you'll see CEI out there right now. In their assessment, they discovered that there were fuses that were being blown and they didn't know why. So they went and got a new fuse box, put it in, put the fuses in, and they blew again. Ooh. Then they began to check the wire, the line itself, throughout the entire city. What they found was splicing into the power lines by the city, by unscrupulous property owners.
Oh my goodness.
Stealing energy and power.
Oh my goodness.
They found those issues. They're going to put together a schedule of going through every line that connects a CEI pole in the city of East Cleveland. And then if there's a problem after that, they're going to send the engineers back and track it even further. They first tracked it, and let me recap. They tracked it to fuses in a box that hasn't been changed in probably 20 years. They changed the box. They put the new fuse in. After a period of time, it blew, so that now they're tracking the wires. So they have to fix all the splices that are in the wires from one border of the city to the other on both major thoroughfares, which is Hayden and Euclid Avenue. Tomorrow, we will have an official update that they're going to send to the mayor, and then we'll send over to council of where they are in their repair. So it has gone beyond light bulbs and photo cells. It has gone beyond dialing the 1-800 service number. If this problem persists, we will end up, I doubt very seriously that it will get to this point, but we're prepared to go to PUCO and lodge formal complaints. And it is a public utility. They have responsibilities. We pay about $180,000 a year for lights, and we pay by fixture.
Oh my.
We pay by fixture. We're going to do our own internal audit to see whether or not we're paying on every fixture, and then compare it to the number of fixtures that are out, and ask for either a refund or credit to our account so that we can reduce the overall cost for future years to help determine what that number is, so that we're paying less, because we obviously paid for services that we haven't gotten. Antonio Marshall and his team are out there every evening doing an audit on every single street light, not only First Energy street lights, but East Cleveland owned street lights. There is no, let me be clear, there is no membership of any organization that allows for the determination of where these lights go. Allendale, I don't believe, has any NOAA members on it. It was out 2 years ago. It was out for 3 years. We lit the street up. I don't know a soul on Wadena. Wadena was out for 2 years. We lit Wadena up. 6th Avenue was out. We lit the street up. Rosemont, a car hit and knocked down 4 poles on Rosemont.
Oh my goodness.
When those poles come in, Rosemont is one of the first streets that will get its street lights. I don't know if there's a NOAA member there or not. Who cares? Residents live on that street, and we need to add power to that street. And that has been the procedure for this administration, as well as demolition. Anyone who's living next to a vacant and abandoned house, who wish for that house to not be raised, put your hand up. Because we get residents who say, take that vacant and abandoned structure down next to where I live.